I think we need to start from the beginning. The application was put into the ministry earlier in the year to obtain a waiver of the 51% ownership, which is throughout all government departments mandatory. So any foreign investment that happens in Namibia is subject to 51% ownership.
Yeah.
The Act states that the respective minister can waive that ownership issue.
Make an exception.
Can make, well, it's called a waiver.
Yeah.
It's the so-called 51% local ownership waiver.
Okay.
And it's being done in various other government ministries where foreign investment is deemed important, but where the minister then decides not to apply the 51% ownership clause. So basically what happened is the 51% ownership waiver was applied for with the minister. And at the same time, the application for spectrum license was applied with CRAN, because that is the correct route to follow. The minister insisted that the ownership, the 51% ownership remains mandatory. She was not prepared to waive the ownership. So the application was basically denied.
Yes.
It appears that now, in as far as the minister giving a decision to refuse the ownership clause, she is required by law to give a reason why she's rejected it, but she did not. So as far as that is concerned, she is in breach. Now, I think everybody that was involved in this, because when CRAN announced in March that the application was rejected, there was a lot of confusion as to, first of all, how much time was put at the disposal of the public to reply to that rejection or to motivate why the rejection should be reconsidered. CRAN, as far as I'm concerned, and I may be wrong, failed to advertise the proper timelines. There's an argument about 30 days and there's an argument about 90 days, so we don't know exactly what is applicable here. But
I think Starlink appealed, I think, 47 days later.
That is correct. But that is because this is the way CRAN originally responded. So they have not advertised the timelines correctly for the normal citizens to understand. I wrote a scathing open letter to both the minister and the CEO of CRAN in May about the rejection, about the ownership, etc., etc. And I raised one very important issue here, and that was the approval of the OneWeb application that was approved last year, and it was approved on the quiet. The ownership clause was waived. All of a sudden, here we have an operator that's operating in Namibia with the same technology, the so-called LEO technology, which is low Earth orbiting satellites. So shortly after that, I started the petition in order to get some momentum behind this entire process and to see what the response is going to be from the Namibians as far as this reconsideration application was going to be concerned.
Ronald, if I can just interrupt, just with a parenthesis. Why? Who are you? Are you a lodge owner? Are you a farmer?
I operated 3 lodges up in the Caprivi for 15 years.
Okay.
We had continuous problems with internet access, with cell phone access. We've gone through multiple VSAT operators in the hope that we were going to find somebody that was going to provide us with, how can I say, acceptable internet service at an affordable price.
Okay.
And that was unfortunately not possible. I've since sold my lodges. I have got a small little farm, and I'm completely cut off from any internet access, from any cell phone coverage whatsoever. So I have to travel every day about 10 kilometers to go and do my calls, etc., which is extremely inconvenient.
Yeah.
Just to give some clarity on that one, I'm the chairperson of Highlands Youth Organization.
Yeah.
It's an affiliate organization under the National Youth Council.
Okay.
Yes, so that is under which the ticket, or however you want to call it, the ticket that I went under.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Who were you supporting between the two candidates?
I thought we were going to start before we get to the main stuff. I thought we were going to start
No, we'll get there.
somewhere before. But just to give some clarity
Yeah.
and some context, myself, I was a board candidate for the National Youth Council
Okay.
at the recently held third General Assembly elections in Swakopmund. So basically, what has transpired in Swakopmund is an event that I think the two candidates that you are referring to took center stage, and which I feel was a bit unfortunate, because those two candidates were only for one position,
Yeah.
which was for the executive chairperson.
Yeah.
But there were 5 positions for the board positions,
Yeah.
which myself, together with 13 other candidates, form part of. So basically, that is where I think we need to give the general public and also the youth at large some context
Yeah.
into the events that unfolded.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a very famous video of you
Yeah.
circulating,
Yes, yes.
seated on the floor. What was happening in that moment? What actually transpired?
Okay, yeah. Now, like I was saying, or like I was trying to say, is that I think we need to do the event some justice by giving some context. You see, so what has transpired is that I think the National Youth Council is an umbrella body that is formed by an Act of Parliament of 2009. In fact, NYC National Youth Council was formed in 1994, but it used to operate under what we call a constitution, and the likes of the Julia Kavitunas and the Pwamba Shifetas were leaders of National Youth Council at the time, before it became an Act of Parliament.
No.
Now, by its nature, the National Youth Council is having an act, like I'm saying, and is guided by the certain policies, the certain clauses within the act. Now, we have to understand that by its very nature, it has now also been transformed into a non-commercial state-owned entity, and by its nature, it's an elective body, meaning that it forms under the Ministry of Education, MISEC, but it's unique in the sense that the board who run the day-to-day activities of the council, they are not appointed, but they're elected. Now, like I'm saying, by virtue of its act, it's having a hierarchy of the various powers that make up the National Youth Council. Now, it starts at the top, which is the General Assembly, and then it goes down into the Representative Council, and then it's the board, then the management. Now, the General Assembly meets by the Act. It meets every 4 years, and the Representative Council meets every year, once a year. And then the board now, they are the ones who run the day-to-day activities. Now, its composition, it's formed of 53 affiliates and 14 regional youth forums that make up the composition of the National Youth Council as an umbrella body. Now, the Representative Council, which meets once a year and is the highest decision-making body in the absence of the General Assembly. It meets every year, so by virtue of that, the composition is the heads of affiliates, which are 53, the chairpersons of the youth forums, which are 14, and the specific board that is there at the time that forms part of now the composition of the Representative Council, called the RC. Now, if we go to the General Assembly, what you do is that you just expound those 53 affiliates and 14 youth forums by virtue of nominating delegates. So each affiliate and each youth forum, they nominate four delegates that now forms part of the composition of the General Assembly.
Yeah.
Now coming back to the General Assembly that has just transpired, like I'm saying, the General Assembly, the Act also gives some specific powers to the General Assembly only in session, meaning that outside the process of a session of a General Assembly, the delegates to the General Assembly do not have power. So you only have power when you are in session. So now, I think that is very much important to note, and I'll tell you why. Because, for example, I can make an example to your platform here. You are maybe, or you are the managing editor, for example. Now, your powers are there on a day-to-day basis, for example. But the youth now, for example, they only have power every 4 years.
Generally, what we had aspired to achieve was, of course, to deliberate on issues affecting young people, whether within the creative arts industry or any other industry where young people find themselves in. One. Two, of course, it's to review the policies that are currently in place. You would know that the NYC was established as an act of parliament, but of course, the modality in its current form, it's not tailor-made to the needs and the aspiration of young people. And of course, the model is also just not working. And this is why over the years, you would see that there has been a lot of internal instability at the NYC as a whole. NYC was also engulfed with a lot of legal disputes. So I think ours was really to look at those issues and to craft a way forward on how to create an environment or an institution where young people can be empowered in their totality, where young people can be given a platform to voice out their challenges, and of course to find ways on how we can improve or improve their material conditions as young Namibians.
Yeah, exactly. So you got there, and then what transpired?
So what happened is, of course, the first day was the day where we had to verify the affiliate organization as well as regional forum. So we got there and the verification process began. So each and every affiliate organization or regional forum is supposed to nominate 4 representatives that will be representing them at the General Assembly, and that's what we did. But of course, I think there was an issue that was raised by the comrades from the COD, saying that they gave in 2 lists. Unfortunately, the first list, they gave in the first list, and then the second list. Unfortunately, it seems like the first list was the one that was processed as opposed to the second list, because each chairperson of the organization, you are supposed to nominate your people, so you know your own people. And of course, they were verified, and we all agreed that the verification process was done accordingly as per the guidelines of the General Assembly, and everything was well. And we even adopted various reports, such as the organizational report, what the NYC have been doing for the past 4 years. And of course, the financial report was also adopted. And during the financial report, very important information was revealed to say, one, that over the past 6 years, there was no, the NYC books were not audited. That is one. Two, in terms of the NYC also failed to draft and table their annual report at the National Assembly, because that is part of the act that they are supposed to table their annual report annually to the National Assembly. Of course, their report should be deliberated in the National Assembly, and they have not done that. So we're really looking at substantive issues. But of course, we noticed that the other group, they were outnumbered in terms of the delegates. They were not going to win the General Assembly, and this is how really the violence erupted and came about. It was actually a sad set of reality.
Yeah. I'll just ask my producer just to start showing some of the images as this conversation goes on of the violence that erupted there. One of the issues there was in terms of verification. I just learned also along the way that the act, the NYC Act, makes provision for regional, for affiliate organizations to be active in at least 7 of the regions.
Correct.
Yeah. And there's a strong sense that a lot of these organizations, I don't know, maybe Nakama included, you can defend yourselves, but to say that they are not really active in other regions. So they're just small organizations, Windhoek-centric, for example, Oshana-centric, for example, and then they rock up at events like that. And that in itself is against the act.
Look, I think due to the financial constraint and of course what has been happening at the NYC, a lot of organizations perhaps are not fully operating as they should in all those 7 regions. But of course, in order for you to become an affiliate organization, the requirements are set. You need to be represented in 7 regions, as you have just alluded. And of course, there is a verification process from the NYC that happens. They do verify whether this organization is active in those regions, and they also during the verification process they actually even call those people the people or your members that you provide the list of. So I think that is more of an administrative issue, and of course perhaps those are some of the reforms that NYC as an institution needs to look at to verify whether are these organizations still active in those regions as they are perpetuating, and whether these are just briefcase organizations. So that it's an institutional matter and not necessarily a matter that delegates will have to raise, because I mean, how do we even know that those issues that are being raised by those specific delegates, whether or not the organizations are also active in the 7 regions. So I think those are some of the reforms that we need to do, or the institution has to look at going forth.
Yeah.
Well, you see, the council is governed by the Act first and foremost, but there is also guidelines that are approved by the minister. Obviously, they have to be taken through the structures of a council. That includes the board and then the representative council. Now, the representative council, in terms of the NYC Act, is the highest decision-making body in terms of policy and consultations. When the General Assembly, which only happens after 4 years, is in session, in those very guidelines, it allows affiliate organizations to nominate candidates. And as per those guidelines, each organization is limited to nominating 1 person per position. So it's a right that is accorded to every affiliate organization.
Okay, lovely. You had Esther Simon, and then the gentleman Simon Tapopi is also a member of the Youth League. In picking the two, one between the two, what was the consideration?
Well, if you are a member of Swapo Party or even the Swapo Party Youth League, you have rights to be nominated and stand for any position. And the structure that is vested with those powers to do the nomination will nominate. What I do know for sure, as also a member of the Central Committee of SPIAL, is that Comrade Esther Simon was nominated without any opposition.
Okay.
I do not know whether there were other nominations, but when these nominations were put to us as members of the Central Committee, the only name that was mentioned for that position of executive chairperson was that one of Comrade Esther Simon. And so in that regard, she was nominated without any opposition.
Okay. So if we assume now that that was the process as it was, really, if anybody within the Youth League or a member of the Youth League on their own volition, maybe they are being propped up by other people who say, look, Thaddeus here is actually better than the candidate that has been nominated formally, and we want you to stand. Does that constitute any violation if you accept that nomination?
Well, you see, the General Assembly elections is a national election. NYC is definitely a government structure, just like many other structures like Parliament, the National Council, even the presidency.
Yeah.
Now, if you are a SWAPO party member, there is a procedure as to how you can be deployed to those government structures.
Yeah.
Because when you accept to be a member of a party, then you subject yourself to its rules and procedures, including the process of candidates identification.
Yeah.
So when we then, as a party, say this is a candidate, this is similar to when we identify a presidential candidate.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are also other actors, independent candidates, opposition parties, and so forth. But when you are a party member, you are compelled to support the candidate that has been identified by the relevant structure.
Yeah, it's good that you say that. So, for example, the party itself, the mother party, if somebody, I think you're making a good point. But let me just say this: did you guys then consider, as the Youth League, did you then consider Simon's stance as defiance, as a departure from the collective?
Well, the constitution of the party, the Youth League is just a subordinate structure of a party. Yeah. Our constitution is subject to the provisions of the constitution of SWAPO party.
Yeah.
It is clear in terms of when you stand, for instance, as an independent candidate without the blessings of a party. But we understand. I mean, NYC has a history. In terms of, it's not the first time the Youth League is identifying a candidate. Yeah. There was Comrade Bush, there was Comrade Mandela, even the Shiveda they were identified through the same process, and I think throughout that process, there's also been other comrades who had interest, but people were sort of able to reach a consensus and say, the party candidate, if the level of SWAPO party, obviously with the support of other national affiliates, including opposition parties, civil society groups, church affiliates. They have oftentimes been supporting the SPILE candidates, and I don't think that has changed.
Yeah. So when because now it is obvious now, Thaddeus, that over the years, there are always two, at least two members of the Youth League who put up their hand for the NYC chairmanship. When Sharonese stood up the other time, Dalha Pulile, who I think also must have been a member of the Youth League at the time, also put up a hand. So how does, it's almost inevitable that there will always be two guys or whatever. Is it not prudent then that the Youth League considers maybe doing this differently? Because otherwise, how are you going to go about it every other time there are two guys?
Yeah, but I think it's okay. Maybe you can say it's an internal party issue, but that's what I'm saying. When you are a party member, before you actually accept to join the party, you are subjected to its constitution. You accept the provisions of its constitution and any other law, including the code of conduct, the rules and procedure. If you belong to this organization and it says, once the candidate is identified, whether you wanted them or not, you are compelled to support as a party member. Our expectation is not really to say this is something that is perhaps sophisticated in terms of comprehension from party members, because the rules are clear. And it's the same principle we use to identify candidates, whether it's regional councillors, local authority councillors, that even when you do not like that individual and the parties says through the voice of a majority, because these people are not appointed, they are subjected to the election process where other members are also entitled to participate. Now, when you lose that internal election, for instance, or you did not get the support in the internal structures of a party, I don't think it's a reason enough to say, because I didn't get support here, I can just go and also stand on my own. Because that in its own, in terms of a party constitution, is a violation of a particular, I think it's Article 6, after the amendment of 2020.
Yeah, I see.